Ladies and gentlemen, when could the Republican-led shutdown end? Let's take a look at this. Brand new reporting to find out, and the key dates to look out for by the Hill.
When could the shutdown end? 5 key dates to watch by Al Weaver. The shutdown became one of the 3 longest in U.S. history on Friday, with lawmakers indicating they believe it will drag on and few signs emerging of progress toward reopening the government. That is not stopping questions about what could force lawmakers toward the negotiating table to figure out a resolution, especially with a number of potential pressure points front and center for lawmakers in the coming weeks. Here are some key dates to keep an eye on in the coming weeks that could force action. October 24, next paycheck for federal employees. Government employees, whether they are furloughed or working through the shutdown, are set to miss their first full paycheck on October 24, raising the pressure on lawmakers to act. The federal workers also received only a partial paycheck earlier this month, putting an extensive strain on the more than 2 million such employees and their families. The issue is front of mind for some lawmakers, especially in states that feature a higher percentage of federal workers than others. It is a factor, Senator Tim Kaine, Democrat from Virginia, said. He noted a 2019 law that guarantees back pay, but acknowledged that is not the same as getting your paycheck on the day you are entitled to it, obviously, and people have tuition to pay and rent and all of that. Additionally, a memo earlier this month from the White House Budget Office argued that federal workers may not be entitled to back pay. A closely watched of government employees is air traffic controllers, of which more than 10,000 are working without pay. A sickout among air traffic controllers is widely seen as a tipping point toward ending the longest shutdown in history in 2019, and absences among controllers this time around could cause headaches for air travel and the wider economy. One controller told News Nation on Wednesday that they are working as a delivery driver to help pay for their daughter's tuition amid the impasse. In addition to the pain government workers and their families will feel, the effects could trickle down into the surrounding communities as they cut back on spending. That in turn could put a strain on the grocery stores, coffee shops, restaurants, and retail establishments that rely on their business. Lawmakers are taking steps to alleviate the pressure. Senate Majority Leader John Thune, Republican from South Dakota, told reporters on Thursday that he is planning to hold a vote on a bill by Senator Ron Johnson, Republican, from Wisconsin that would pay accepted employees, meaning federal workers who have to keep working despite the funding lapse. But that bill, even if it passes, would not help furloughed workers, and it is far from certain that Democrats would allow it to advance or that the House would return to Washington to take it up. October 31st, next military paycheck. Trump administration officials sidestepped one landmine this week when they dug up $8 billion of unused research development funds from fiscal year 2025 in order to pay 1.3 million active duty service members, ensuring they did not miss their October 15th paychecks. Whether they are able to do it again come Halloween is another question. Lawmakers are already eyeing that date as they cast doubt on whether a similar move by the administration is possible. That option is not going to be available in 2 weeks for their next paycheck. House Armed Services Committee Chairman Mike Rogers, Republican from Alabama, told reporters on Friday. This is where Congress could step in, despite deciding against doing so ahead of the October 15th payday for the armed forces. The bill Thune is planning to move on the floor in the coming days to pay accepted workers also applies to service members. I am sure we will be looking at potential options. We are going to give them a chance to pay the military next week, Thune said. That will be the first opportunity and then we will see from there. October 31 and November 5, congressional staffer paychecks. These are lower on the totem pole in the eyes of lawmakers, but they nonetheless hit close to home, as the staffers they work closely with each day are in the dark on when they will get paid again, and some might not receive a check for the foreseeable future. Senate aides are the first of the group to get hit, as they will miss their first full paycheck on Monday, with lawmakers already missing a chance to avoid that. Notably, staffers in the 2 chambers are paid out differently. The Senates are paid twice monthly, on the 5th and 20th. House of Representatives aides are paid once per month, though, with that coming at the end of every month. That means that if House staffers do not get paid at the end of October, they will not receive their next check until after Thanksgiving. The House pay cycle has raised questions for quite some time, but with the chamber out of session for a month, there is little lawmakers can do about that. House GOP leadership has also argued that they have done their job by passing the clean, continuing resolution. Rent is due on the 1st, one House Democratic aide said, pointing to the unusual nature of the House pay schedule. Literally nobody else does this. November 1st, Affordable Care Act open enrollment. This is perhaps the most important date of any listed here. Health care is the driving force behind the entire shutdown, with Democrats intent to heap pressure on Republicans to come to the table on enhanced Obamacare subsidies before open enrollment starts. Republicans argue that the enhanced credits do not expire until the end of the year, but Democrats have made clear that they see the start of open enrollment, when Americans using the Obamacare marketplaces will start shopping for 2026 coverage, as the key date. Absent congressional action, their premiums are set to increase precipitously. The American people are facing one of the most devastating crises they have faced in terms of cost, and we still have not heard crickets out of any negotiation with Speaker Mike Johnson or with Senate Majority Leader John Thune. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat from New York, said at a press event on Thursday. The Republicans are on the defensive. They keep changing their stories and changing their arguments, but we are on the side of the American people. State exchanges and insurers are already sending notices out to enrollees explaining what is coming down the line in the coming weeks and months. And state insurance officials are already saying it is too late to alter the pricing before November 1st. Republicans believe that getting past November 1st will be key for them to get a deal, as it will zap Democrats of much of their leverage. However, Democrats do not share that view, saying pressure will only increase on the majority party the longer nothing gets done on the health care front, and as Americans see how much they will pay for health insurance. It is still not possible to stop the full impact of the rate increases after November 1st, Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat from Connecticut, told Punchbowl News last week. If we do not deal with this before November 1st, it becomes trickier to solve legislatively, but the heat gets turned way up by the public to do something. November 21, week of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is more than a month away, but with no obvious off-ramps and early speculation that the shutdown could last several more weeks, the idea of it going until late November is not out of the question. That brings into play what could be a perfect storm for Americans: a shortage of TSA workers and continued problems on the air traffic control front during Thanksgiving week, one of the two biggest travel stretches of the year. That is a nightmare for lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, who still remember the air traffic control mayhem in early 2019 that forced Trump and members to reopen the government and bring to an end the 35-day shutdown, the longest in U.S. history. Those problems, coupled with the prospect of Thanksgiving holiday travel and air traffic controllers who would have gone without pay for roughly a month, may be a bridge too far for members. Under this scenario, they would likely have until the Friday before the holiday to find a deal before the intense travel starts in earnest. One of the many consequences of the Schumer shutdown is that we are seeing, and will continue to see, even more delays for travel, Senate Commerce Committee Chair Ted Cruz, Republican from Texas, told The Hill. Thanksgiving week is the biggest travel time of the year. If the Democrats are irresponsible enough to be trying to force air traffic controllers and TSA to work without paychecks through Thanksgiving, the traveling public would pay the price. At some point, sanity will return to at least some small sliver of Democrats, and the lights will be turned back on, Cruz continued. Damned if I know when.
At this point, ladies and gentlemen, this is getting ridiculous of the Republican-led shutdown. And I'll remind you guys again. Republicans control the Senate, they control the House, and they control the presidency. Unfortunately, if this was a Democratic-led government, then it would be solely on the Democrats and not on the Republicans. However, it is a Republican-controlled Senate. not a Democratic-controlled Senate. If it was on the Democrats, then this more than likely wouldn't happen. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy. Please help me keep the YouTube algorithm up by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Please help me reach and achieve the goal of 310 subscribers plus. The reason why I'm saying 310 subscribers plus is because right after we reach and achieve the goal of 310 subscribers, we have more subscribers to reach and achieve right after we reach and achieve the goal of 310 subscribers. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this legal breaking reporting video analysis update. In the meantime, please look out for my next legal breaking reporting video analysis update, and I look forward to talking to you guys in my next legal breaking analysis reporting.